For generations we have been taught a lie, a comfortable lie, but a destructive one. We have been told that our nature is fixed, that the blueprint for our life, our temper, our anxieties, our capacity for success or failure is written in an unchangeable code, locked away in the nucleus of every cell. You have your father's temper. You have your mother's anxiety. You are just not the kind of person who can build a business, or keep a promise, or find peace. It's in your DNA. This is the great alibi of the modern world. It is the golden cage of mediocrity, the perfect excuse handed to us by a science that has, until now, misunderstood the very nature of creation. It is the whisper of the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination cloaking itself in the language of biology to keep you small, to keep you trapped, to convince you that the prison you feel is not a prison at all, but the very architecture of your being. I know this voice because I have heard it. I remember looking at the patterns in my own life, the recurring failures in my early businesses, the same self-sabotaging habits, and thinking, this is just who I am. I can't change it. It felt like a life sentence handed down not by a judge, but by my own ancestry. But what if I told you that recent discoveries in the field of genetics are not just challenging this idea, but are shattering it completely? What if I told you that science is now proving a spiritual truth that the Jewish mystics have been teaching for 3,000 years? That you are not the slave of your code, you are its master. You have been given not just the ability, but the divine command to rewrite your own spiritual DNA. This is not a metaphor. This is a technology of the soul. And if you feel trapped by your own nature, if you feel like you are fighting a losing battle against your own worst instincts, then this video is your liberation. We are going to explore the stunning convergence of modern biology and ancient Kabbalah to reveal the power you have to fundamentally change who you are from the inside out. Before we go any further, I want you to pause and answer this in the comments. What is the one inherited trait from your parents or grandparents that you feel is holding you back from your potential? Be specific. Is it anxiety, a short temper, a fear of risk, a tendency towards pessimism? Be honest. Naming the enemy is the first step to defeating it. Subscribe to this channel right now. We are building an army of 100,000 souls who understand the true principles of Jewish wealth and Jewish living. We are here to prove that the Torah contains the exact principles to transform your financial life and your home. If you are ready to join this movement, subscribe now. It is a commitment to your own transformation. And for those who want the complete system, the master blueprint for healing your house and building unstoppable wealth, I have something for you. For a limited time, I am opening the doors to the Torah Millionaire Business School for just $209. In this school, I teach the complete Torah wealth system, the 3,000-year-old Jewish money laws that have created dynasties and protected families. You will learn the exact principles that heal your house. You will learn how to create a sanctuary of abundance in your home. You will learn how to transform your house from a place of sickness into a place of blessing. The link is in the comments. Do not delay. The scientific revolution that is tearing down the prison of genetic determinism is called epigenetics. For decades, we believed that the DNA sequence we inherit is a fixed, unchanging blueprint. It dictates the color of our eyes, our height, and, many believed, our core personality. But epigenetics reveals a breathtakingly more complex and empowering reality. It has discovered that there is a second layer of information that sits on top of our DNA. Think of your DNA as the hardware of a computer. The epigenetic markers are the software. They are chemical tags, like switches, that tell your genes when to turn on and when to turn off. They don't change the code itself, but they change the expression of the code. And here is the earth-shattering discovery. These switches are not fixed. They are flipped by your lifestyle, your diet, your environment, your stress levels, and most profoundly by your thoughts, your beliefs, and your conscious choices. You may have a gene that predisposes you to anxiety, but through your actions and your focus, you can effectively tell that gene to be quiet. You can turn down its volume. You are, in a very real biological sense, conducting the symphony of your own genetic expression. Science is finally catching up with the wisdom of King Solomon, who wrote 3,000 years ago in the book of Proverbs. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. He didn't say, as a man's genes are written, so is he. He said, the engine of your reality is your consciousness. This is not New Age philosophy. This is the ancient operating system of the Jewish soul. Our sages have never accepted the idea that a person's character is fixed. On the contrary, the entire purpose of our existence, according to the Kabbalists, is a process of refinement, of spiritual alchemy. This process is called Tikkun Hamidot, the rectification of the character traits. The premise is radical. You did not come into this world as a finished product. You came into this world as a divine project. The negative traits you inherited, the anger, the jealousy, the fear, these are not punishments. They are your curriculum. They are the raw materials, the spiritual lead that you have been tasked to transform into gold. The world tells you to accept your flaws. The Torah commands you to transform them. The central tool for this transformation, this spiritual gene editing, is one of the most misunderstood concepts in all of religion: teshuvah. Most people translate teshuvah as repentance. This is a weak, almost pathetic translation. It conjures up images of guilt and shame. But the Hebrew root of the word shuv means to return. Teshuvah is not about apologizing for who you are. It is the process of returning to who you truly are. It is about returning to the divine source code, the pure, untarnished soul, the neshama, that God breathed into you at birth. The negative traits, the destructive habits, these are the epigenetic junk that has accumulated on your spiritual DNA through life, through trauma, through the influence of your environment. Teshuvah is the spiritual technology for cleaning your own code. The great Maimonides, the Rambam, in his legal masterpiece, the Mishneh Torah, describes the power of teshuvah with the precision of a surgeon. In the laws of teshuvah, he doesn't just talk about feeling sorry. He defines what a complete transformation looks like. He writes that a true Baal Teshuvah, a master of this return, is someone who finds themselves in the exact same situation where they previously failed, with the same desires and the same opportunity to make the wrong choice, and they choose differently. Not because they are afraid of punishment, but because they are no longer the same person. Their very nature has been altered. This is not behavior modification. This is identity-level transformation. Maimonides is describing a person who has successfully silenced a negative spiritual gene and activated a positive one. He is describing a person who has consciously used their free will to perform epigenetic therapy on their own soul. The world offers therapy to help you cope with your anger. Maimonides gives you a blueprint to uproot the anger and become a vessel of patience. The world gives you medication to manage your anxiety. The Torah gives you the tools to transmute the raw energy of fear into the unshakable certainty of bitachon, of active, muscular trust in the divine. This is the radical promise of our tradition. Your DNA is not your destiny. It is your assignment. The struggles you inherited are not a curse. They are the very battleground on which you will forge your greatness and reveal your true divine self. You are not a victim of your biology. You are a partner with God in the ongoing creation of your own soul. The question is, are you ready to pick up the tools and begin the work? So, how do we move from this profound revelation to a practical reality? How do we become the active editors of our own spiritual code? It is not enough to be inspired by the idea. You must have a protocol, a system to implement it. I am going to give you a 4-step framework. This is a spiritual technology that draws on the wisdom of Maimonides and the focused practices of the 19th century Mussar movement, which was a school of Jewish ethics dedicated entirely to this work of Tikkun Hamidot. I call this the Teshuvah Protocol for Spiritual Epigenetics. If you are serious about changing, this is not a suggestion. It is your new operating manual. Step 1. Isolate the defective gene. You cannot fight a vague enemy. The Yetzer Hara thrives in ambiguity. You cannot say, I want to be a better person. That is a meaningless goal. You must be ruthlessly specific. You must choose one and only one negative character trait, one midah, that you will declare war on. For the next 30 days, this is your singular focus. Is it anger? Is it jealousy? Is it laziness? Is it the victim mentality? Is it the need for approval from others? You must choose the trait that is causing the most damage in your life right now. The one that is sabotaging your relationships, your health, or your parnasa, your livelihood. Take out a piece of paper right now and write it down. Name your enemy. For example, you don't write anger. You write the habit of speaking with a raised, sharp tone to my spouse and children when I feel stressed. The more specific the diagnosis, the more effective the treatment. This is the equivalent of a geneticist isolating a single problematic gene on a chromosome. You have now identified your target. Step 2. The diagnostic scan. For the next 7 days, you have only one job: to observe and record. You are not to try and change the behavior yet. That will come later, and it's a common mistake to jump there too soon. For 7 days, you will become a detached scientist of your own soul. You will carry a small notebook or use an app on your phone, and every single time the targeted trait expresses itself, you will log it. You will note the time, the trigger, the intensity of the feeling, and the words you used or the action you took. This practice, known in the Mussar tradition as Cheshbon HaNefesh, a spiritual accounting, is profoundly powerful. Why? Because most of our negative traits operate on autopilot. They are subconscious programs. The act of observing them without judgment brings them into the light of your conscious mind. You begin to see the patterns. You might notice that your anger only flares up after you've checked your work emails at night, or that your victim mentality only emerges when you speak to a specific family member. This is data. You are mapping your own spiritual genome. The Yetzer Hara hates this process because it loses its power when it is seen. It thrives in the darkness of unconscious reaction. By simply watching it, you are already beginning to starve it of its power. You are introducing a new signal into your system, the signal of awareness. Step 3. The Maimonidean gene therapy. And now that you have identified the gene and tracked its expression, it is time to actively rewrite the code. Here we turn to one of the most radical strategies from Maimonides. He teaches that in order to heal a soul that has become bent in one direction, you cannot just aim for the center. You must, for a period of time, swing to the absolute opposite extreme. This is a spiritual form of physical therapy. If a muscle has atrophied, you must overexert it to build it back. If your soul is sick with stinginess, Maimonides says, you must not just become normally charitable. You must practice radical, almost reckless generosity for a time, giving away more than you are comfortable with, until the very muscle of giving is strengthened. If your identified trait is angry speech, your therapy for the next phase is to practice extreme silence, or to only speak with unnatural, exaggerated softness and kindness. The voice of your Yetzer Hara will scream at you during this phase. It will say, "This is fake. This isn't you. You're being a phony." Your job is to recognize that voice for what it is, the dying scream of the old software program that is being overwritten. You are not being fake. You are actively installing the new you. You are forcing the expression of a new spiritual gene. You are manually flipping the epigenetic switches. For every instance where you would have defaulted to the negative trait, you consciously and deliberately choose the extreme opposite. This is hard work. It is the work of a warrior. This is the core of the entire process, and it's where most people fail. It's also a foundational element we master inside the Torah Millionaire Business School, applying this principle of character transformation directly to how you handle risk, negotiation, and leadership. For just $299, we show you how becoming a master of your own internal state is the non-negotiable prerequisite for mastering your financial reality. Step 4. Rescribe the master code. The final step is to solidify this new identity at the level of the soul, the neshama. Behavior change is temporary if identity does not follow. You must begin to speak your new reality into existence. Every morning upon waking and every night before sleeping, you will perform a declaration of being. You will stand before a mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and state your new truth in the present tense. If you are working on anger, you will say out loud, "I am a vessel for divine patience. My words bring healing and calm to my home." If you are working on a victim mentality, you will say, "I am the sole author of my life story. I take radical responsibility for my reality, and I have the power to create any outcome I desire." This is not empty affirmation. This is following the blueprint of creation itself. The Torah begins, "And God said, 'Let there be light.'" Words create worlds. Your words create your internal world. By repeating this declaration, you are engraving this new identity onto your subconscious mind. You are providing a new dominant instruction set for your spiritual DNA. Over 30 days, this 4-step protocol, isolate, scan, therapy, and rescribe, will not just change a habit. It will begin to change the very fabric of who you are. It will turn a scientific theory into your lived, breathing reality. You will have taken a piece of your inherited code, a piece of your past, and through the divine gift of free will, you will have transformed it into a cornerstone of your magnificent future. So we see the choice laid bare before us. It is a choice between two narratives. The narrative of the world, which tells you that you are a biological machine, a collection of genetic predispositions you are powerless to change. It is a narrative of sophisticated victimhood. It is comfortable. It requires nothing of you, and it leads to a life of quiet desperation, of untapped potential, of being a permanent spectator in your own life. Or you can choose the narrative of the Torah. the 3,000-year-old truth that science is only now beginning to prove, the narrative that you are a divine soul, a co-creator with God, endowed with the awesome power to shape your own nature. It tells you that your flaws are not your identity. They are your assignment. Your struggles are not a sign of your weakness. They are the stage for your greatest strength. This path is not comfortable. It demands everything from you. It demands awareness, courage, discipline, and an unshakable trust that you are more than the sum of your inherited parts. Your poverty is not a lack of money. It is the poverty of believing you cannot change. Your anxiety is not a chemical imbalance alone. It is a soul that has forgotten its own power. This Teshuvah protocol is your tool for remembering. It is the key to unlock the prison of the way I am. But a key is a useless piece of metal if it is not placed in the lock and turned with force and intention. The knowledge is not enough. You must act. The war for your own soul is not won with information, it is won with action. So here is my charge to you. Tonight. Not tomorrow, not next week. Tonight you will take out a piece of paper and you will perform step 1. You will choose the one trait. You will name the enemy. You will declare war on a part of yourself that is holding you back from your God-given destiny. This is the first, most crucial step in your own liberation. This is not another self-help exercise. This is a sacred act. It is a declaration to God and to your own soul that you are ready to stop being a slave to your nature and to become its master. It is your turn to become the scribe. If you accept this charge, if you are truly ready to stop being defined by your past and start authoring your future, I want you to go down to the comments right now and write, "I am the scribe of my soul." Make that declaration. Make it a public covenant between you and the person you are choosing to become. And now I want to leave you with a blessing. May the Creator of the universe, who formed you with infinite wisdom and breathed into you a pure and holy soul, open your eyes to the incredible power He has placed within you. May He give you the clarity to see the patterns that hold you captive and the warrior's courage to shatter them. May He grant you the discipline to do the hard work of transformation, to swing to the opposite extreme, and to rewrite your own spiritual code with letters of light and strength. May you look back 1 year from today and not even recognize the person you once were, because you have consciously and lovingly sculpted yourself into a true reflection of your divine potential. And may you become a living testament to the truth that we are not prisoners of our history, but masters of our destiny. Amen.